Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WREST Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com. I'm Tom Brady, now joined by the head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team, Rob Anspach. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Now, Coach, you've had about a week or so to think about the end of the regular season, and what are your thoughts now about what happened and what transpired in CAA play?
Yeah, I thought overall we had a pretty good year, 12-3. We had some good wins, some tough losses. I definitely think we could have been 15-0 this year. I think we were good enough to win the 3 matches that we did lose. So while it was a good year to win, 12 matches, it was a little disappointing knowing that we could have knocked off the number 3 team, the number 9 team, and Binghamton, who I think was 18 when we wrestled them. So that would have made it a great year for dual meet wise. But overall, pretty good year. Thing I liked, I thought most of the guys had improved as the season went on. And so I'm pretty happy with where we are right now.
Now, coming up, the CAA championships, they'll be held upstate in Binghamton this year. Do you think there's any kind of advantage that Binghamton might have from being able to host this year?
Anytime you get to wrestle at home, it's a little bit of an advantage. You get to sleep in your own bed, and you don't have to travel and bus and things like that. So, yeah, it's a little bit of an advantage, but nothing that will determine the outcome of this tournament. This tournament will be won by who wrestles the best and who's prepared and who goes out there and performs up to their ability.
As we start taking a look at some of the breakdowns by weight class at 125, Steve Bonanno, number 1 in the CAA, number 12 nationally, only 1 CAA allocation for 125 pounds, but you have to feel confident for Steve. He's as good a chance as anybody to get an at-large bid if things don't go his way.
Yeah, I think, Steve's whole year has earned him a right to wrestle at the NCAA tournament. So if something unforeseen does happen and he loses somewhere, I 100% believe he'll be going to the national tournament. Obviously, going in there, he's the number 1 seed, and we expect him to win the tournament. He's pretty much dominated everybody he's wrestled in conference, and he's had a great week of practice. He's healthy, he's feeling good, and I would expect nothing less but him to be on top of that podium this year.
133 and 141. Luke Veit, Jamie Franco, both guys were ranked number 2 in the last CAA poll. Both of them ranked number 24th nationally as well, and 2 allocations for those weight classes from the CAA. How are you feeling about 133, 141?
Yeah, those are going to be pretty competitive weight classes. As far as, obviously the goal is to get to the national tournament, but, even besides that, it's to win these weight classes. And we have guys that are these Luke and Jamie are both capable of winning their weight class. They're ranked 2nd. He had a 1-point loss to Sam Tate, who was ranked 1st. Veit had, after that loss to Smudge, been wrestling really well and coming along strong. I don't think that was a great match when he wrestled the kid from Drexel. So I think they've had a good enough year, especially when you look at some of Luke's wins. He's beaten Kemmerer, who's a returning All-American, and things like that. Jamie has wins over top 20 guys. So I think they solidified themselves. The issue is you don't know what's going to happen at these other tournaments. I look at the Pac-12s, and they had the kid Drucker who lost, and it needs a wild card. So if that happens at a couple weight classes, you don't know what's going to happen. The best thing you can do is win the tournament, and you don't have to worry about it.
At 149, Justin Acardino has been wrestling well as of late. Finishes the season number 2 in the CAA, number 20 nationally. He's got Donnie Vincent ahead of him. What's going to be the key for Justin to come out with a win there?
Well, first we gotta get by the kid from Ryder, who was the returning conference champ, and we had a pretty close match with him last time. He'll probably feel a little bit better now that he's back in the lineup. So we got a tough match in the semifinals. Once we get through him, and then, we got to wrestle Vincent, and we need to have a better first period against Vincent. He was up 8-1 after the first period and kind of put the match out of reach early. I believe if we can stay close in that first period, our conditioning will start to take a factor. It was definitely evident in the last match that they wrestled. It was just too far of a gap. We didn't have enough time to close the gap. So if it is a closer match, I think in the second and third period is going to favor us, but we can't afford to go out there and give up 8 points in the first period again.
At 157, Tyler ranks wasn't in the top 4 in the most recent rankings. What do you see from Tyler, and do you think he can maybe get a surprise and maybe wind up finishing as one of the top 2 in the CAA?
Yeah, I think when the seeds, the rankings came out and he wasn't in there, but when we dug a little deeper and we talk about the seeds and the pre-seeds, he's either going to be the 3 or the 4 seed at the weight class. So, Can he get in there the top two? Yeah, he definitely can. He's capable of that. You know, he needs to wrestle well, but he needs to take it one match at a time. Because with Tyler, every match has been close. So there's no looking ahead for anybody. His first round match is going to be difficult. His second match is going to be difficult. And if he makes it to the finals, that one's going to be difficult. But we need him to wrestle to his ability and make sure that he's placing at his seed, if not higher.
At 165, PJ Gillespie finishes number 3 in the CAA, according to the most recent rankings. 4 allocation spots for 165, plenty of strong wrestlers. What does that say about 165 in the CAA, and how prepared will that make PJ for the NCAAs?
Well, yes, 165, obviously by the number of qualifiers we have, is one of the strongest weights, if not the strongest weight in the conference with, you know, PJ and Booth and Warner and Kaler. So they're all very good wrestlers. Any one of them is really capable of winning the tournament if they have a good tournament. You know, I look at PJ as even though he's lost to Booth, I still think PJ is the favorite for the tournament. Because he's been there, he's done it so many times. He's done it at the highest level, you know, at the NCAA tournament. You know, the match with Warner, we were winning the whole match. We got hit in a stupid move at the end of it. But, you know, most likely we'll have Warner. Actually, no, most likely we'll have Kaler in the semifinals and hopefully Booth in the finals. And I know that's a match that PJ's kind of been looking forward to, being that he beat him the last time. So, you know, we need PJ to go out there and score points and open up his offense and, you know, come home with the title.
At 174, you have a freshman in Jermaine John, not in the top 4 according to the last rankings. What's going to be the key for Jermaine in his first CAA tournament championships to go out and have a strong showing?
Well, Jermaine needs to start just having a little bit more confidence, and that's a lot easier said than done, especially when you've had the last couple matches Jermaine's had. They haven't been very good for him. But he's having a good week of practice. He's hitting more shots. He's got to stay offensive minded because when he's standing around, it's obviously not working for him. So, you know, we've been stressing with him to just go out there and wrestle to his ability. And not put so much pressure on himself to do something spectacular. Just go out and wrestle within himself. He has tools, he has skills to be one of the top guys in the conference. He just has to perform better when he steps on the mat.
At 184 pounds, Ben Clymer, number 1 in the CAA, number 12 nationally, and another guy, kind of like Steve, who, based on the season he's had, has certainly seems to have earned himself a place in the NCAAs.
Yeah, Ben's, you know, another guy who's beaten a returning All-American. Bosak was number 3 in the country when he beat him. So, you know, a win like that definitely helps you get into the national tournament. But again, you know, you don't want to make it up to that. There's 2 spots qualified. You got to finish in the top 2 to guarantee yourself going. I think his whole body of work has earned him the right. But, you know, when we're looking at this from a team standpoint, winning the tournament, and for, you know, Ben becoming an All-American, losing in the conference isn't an option for him. Right now, he's in a place where he'll be seeded at nationals, and that's what you want. You don't want to be thrown in there. You want to have a seed, so that first match is supposed to be one of your, you know, against an unseeded person. None of the matches at national are easy, but at least you're not running into the number 1 guy or the number 2 guy first round. So, you know, Ben needs to focus on winning this tournament. You know, going through it, he's, you know, the last couple matches I felt he's wrestled kind of tentative. He hasn't been scoring as much as he was earlier in the year, and we need to get him back to doing what he had been doing, where he was scoring all those points.
Get into the final 2 weight classes, 197 and heavyweight. 3 allocations for each weight class. Neither of your, only Paul Snyder was ranked in the CAA, also on the bubble of the top 33. What are you looking for out of those 2 weight classes? And obviously, I'm sure you're hoping to have Paul in the NCAA tournament. Yeah,
Tim, you know, he's had some tough matches. He's been wrestling pretty well lately. His last 2 matches, he showed a lot of effort, a lot of heart, and was right there for those matches. So, you know, we need him to continue doing that and you know, find a way to get his hand raised and get in there for a position to earn a spot to the national tournament. He has a place in the top 3. You know, the weight class is pretty good with Hall and Palak and the kid from George Mason. Those guys are all good wrestlers. And Cody Reed up at Binghamton. But he's got to find a way to be able to wrestle those guys and get his hand raised. With Paul, you know, he's going to be the 4th seed. We lost a close match to the number 1 seed here. I felt we can, you know, reverse that decision if we wrestle a little bit better in the top position. I think Paul is big enough and strong enough where we can get a riding point against him, and if we do that, it's going to help us out a lot. You know, we need Paul. Again, they have 3 spots allocated. If he does slip in the semis against the number 1 seed, he's got to be ready to battle for that 3rd and last spot that'll get him to the national tournament. He's a guy that, like you said, he's on the bubble. if he doesn't qualify, I don't know if he gets that spot. You're putting that in the hands of somebody else, and you never want to be in that position. So for Paul, he needs to finish in the top 3 to make sure that he's going to the national tournament this year. But ultimately, his goal needs to be to win the tournament.
Now, it seems that about 7 has been the number for this team in terms of how many wrestlers making it to the NCAA tournament. Is that what you're expecting? Again, to probably have about 7 guys make the final postseason.
If you look at the seeds and stuff like that, yeah, 7 guys are supposed to, 6 to 7 guys are supposed to do it. If you want to know, I think we need to have everybody out there. If there's enough room, 74 has 2 spots qualified. You got to find a way to get into the top 2. 97 has 3 spots qualified. You got to find a way to get in there. Same thing at 57. You need to find your way to get into those positions and get to the national tournament to help this team. Obviously, if they do those things, what it's going to help us do is it's going to help us win another conference championship, which is one of the goals that this team set out in the beginning of the year. We've won 10 out of the last 11, and I don't want to let this one go this year. So, it's going to be, when you look at it, it's between us and Binghamton. If you base things just off of seeds, we're very close. It's really going to come down to bonus points and who shows up and wrestles the best, and which guys, which 4 seed ends up taking second, or which 3 seed ends up taking first, or which 1 seed ends up losing, and things like that. So, we got to be ready to wrestle whether we're the 1 seed or unseeded, and go out there and compete to the best of our ability to help the team win another CAA championship.
And what kind of advice will maybe you give, maybe especially some of the guys without as much CAA tournament experience, about going in and getting into the tournament, having a good showing?
It's pressure is one of those things that you put on yourself. Nobody else can put it on you. So just stay relaxed, stay focused. We're 16 dates into the season. You've had 30-some matches. This match is no different than any other match you wrestled this year. So just stay composed, stay calm, and go out there and wrestle in your positions. And just do what you're capable of. Take everything else away from it. At the end of the day, it's a wrestle match. It's 7 minutes. Go take care of business. And if you do that, good things will happen. You'll end up at the national tournament. If you start going, oh my God, this is my chance to get there, and all this stuff starts coming on top of your shoulders, you're going to get a little tense, you're going to get a little tight, and you're probably not going to perform to the best of your ability. So we just need our guys to stay relaxed.
All right, Rob Anspach, head coach of the Hofstra wrestling team. Thanks for joining us inside the W. Mason Coaches Report here on GoHofstra.com.
Thanks.